right. All right, beautiful. Thank you for joining me for a yoga and meditation class. My name is Holly. My pronouns are she, her. This is a beginner-friendly floor-based class, so you will need to be able to get on and off the floor. You'll want a carpeted area or a yoga mat if you have one. And that's about it. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. You can sit crisscross applesauce or in Sukhasana, easy pose with one foot in front of the other. You might take a moment to rock back and forth, side to side, roll your shoulders forward a few times, backward a few times. Any other motions that feel good to your body right now, you're welcome to do so. You don't need to do exactly what I'm doing, just whatever feels good to you. And as a reminder throughout class, you are your greatest teacher. So if at any point something I'm suggesting does not feel right for you, you're welcome to take a different variation of a posture. You can do something else entirely. You can take a break. It is your body, your yoga practice, your life, your choice. So just enjoy this time that you've set aside for yourself today. All right, let's come into some stillness here. Sit up nice and tall. Feel your sitting bones firmly on the floor. Lift your chest slightly, relax your shoulders. So you have a nice tall spine from the side. And we'll just start with a few easy breaths. Inhale through your nose. And anything you'd like to let go of, you can open your mouth. Let it go through the exhale breath. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Anything from your day or your week that you'd like to set aside. Sigh it out. 1 more time. Inhale. Let it all go through the exhale breath. Your breath is your home base. You're always welcome to return simply to your breath throughout class. We will breathe through the nose for the rest of class. Take an inhale, stretch the crown of your head up to the ceiling. Exhale, tilt your right ear towards right shoulder, stretching the left side neck. And it's worth noting that I'm not mirroring you, so it might look like I'm moving my head to the left, when in fact I'm moving my head to the right. I will do the right side of postures first, unless I forget, which sometimes happens, but again, you're welcome to follow my words or my body movements either way. Good, bring your head back to center, inhale, stretch up. Exhale through your nose, tilt your left ear towards left shoulder, stretching the right side neck. This side might feel different from the other side. It does for me. We are not symmetrical. Nowhere in ancient Vedic texts does it say that yoga is about symmetry. Yoga is about self-realization, self-care, and by extension, community care. A byproduct of a yoga asana posture practice is sometimes you even out a little bit. That is a byproduct, not the goal. Good. On your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, stretch the crown of your head up. Exhale, tuck your chin in, relax your jaw, bring your chin towards your chest. If you have arthritis in your neck, I recommend taking it easy anytime that we forward fold. Sometimes simply looking down towards the floor is enough. Otherwise, you can let your chin drop towards your chest. Notice if you start to lean forward, round forward, or hunch forward, sit up nice and tall, lift your chest, drop your shoulders, and then let your head relax. So it's just your neck spine, your cervical spine moving at the beginning of class. Good. On your next inhale, bring your nose up so that you're back to center. Exhale, shoulders down. Good. Now lift your nose and chin. Look up towards the ceiling. Keep lifting your chin. And if it feels good, you can even relax your head all the way back, never forcing the body. Especially in a world where we tend to hunch forward over our cell phones in particular, dropping our head back is really healthy for the spine, but it can feel kind of weird or uncomfortable. Make sure you keep your eyes open when you do back bend so you're aware of where you are in time and space. Good. Slowly come back to center. Look straight ahead. Perfect. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale through your nose. Bring your chin over your right shoulder. Look back. The spine moves in 6 different directions, right, left, backward, forward, twisting to each side. We will do all of those multiple times, even in a 20-minute asana practice. Good. Slowly unwind. Come back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale through your nose, bring your chin over your shoulder, look for the wall behind you. So you're stretching your motor ocular nerve here. That's a parasympathetic nerve. So when we stretch the eyeball, when we stretch the eye nerve, it actually helps to soothe the nervous system. Look back as far as you can. Good. And slowly come back to center. Good. We'll get the rest of the body involved. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Palms in prayer if that feels good. Exhale, pull your hands through heart center, shoulders down. Good. Arms out to the side. We'll do that again. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Big expansive gesture. Stretch up. Exhale, hands at heart center. This time, thumbs to sternum. Press palms together. Feel your biceps engage. Lovely. Interlace your fingers. Push your palms out for a nice knuckle stretch. We have 28 knuckles and we want to stretch all of them. Beautiful. And release your arms down by your side. If you're sitting crisscross applesauce or in Sukhasana, switch your feet so that the other foot is on top. Perfect. Take your right hand outside of your right thigh, and on your next inhale, reach your left arm long overhead for a side body stretch. Can you lengthen your left arm, drop your left shoulder down, lift your chin away from your chest, and then roll your left shoulder back slightly so that your ribs stack one on top of the other. Inhale. And on your exhale, come back to center, float your left arm down. Good. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach your right arm long overhead. Exhale, shoulder down. So you're extending through the arm while keeping the shoulder soft, chin away from the chest. Roll your right rib cage back, look forward, take a breath. And on your next exhale, come back to center, right arm down. Let's speed that up a little bit. Inhale, reach your left arm overhead. Beautiful. Exhale, come back to center, left arm down. Inhale, right arm long, stretching right side body. Exhale, come back to center, right arm down. Beautiful. Keep your left knee bent, kick your right leg out for an inner thigh stretch. You can point your toes, flex your toes, keep your toes flexed back slightly. Right hand outside of right thigh, reach your left arm long overhead. This time, if you'd like, you can bend your right elbow and bring your forearm to your thigh. Option to stay here or bend your left elbow and pat yourself on the back for practicing yoga today. Great, so we're just getting a little bit deeper into the side stretch as we start to wake up the lower body, the inner thigh as well. If your left elbow is bent, straighten your left arm. If your right elbow is bent, put your right hand on the floor, push yourself up to center. Good, left arm down. Other side, kick your left leg out, right leg in, point your toes, flex your toes, keep your toes flexed back. Left hand outside of left thigh, right arm long overhead. Option to stay here or bend your left elbow, forearm to thigh. Try to keep your right sit bone on the floor. Option to stay here or bend your right elbow and pat yourself on the back for something else that you're proud of this week. Even if you're not bending your elbow, still take a moment for self-affirmation. If your right elbow is bent, straighten your right arm. If your left elbow is bent, put your left hand on the floor, push yourself up to center, float your right arm down. Good. Keep your left leg kicked out. Now kick your right leg out. And again, you can point your toes, flex your toes, and you might walk your hips back a little bit so you're sitting forward of your sit bones. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up, big stretch up. Exhale, hands to floor, fold forward. Rather than rounding your spine, think about arching your spine. Roll your shoulders back and down, stick your butt out a little bit, lift your chin and chest. Good. Push your hands into the floor, come up to center with or without the use of your hands. Slide your feet back together. And this time, again, you can point your toes, flex your toes, maybe windshield wiper your feet right and left, draw circles with your ankles, clockwise, counterclockwise, working out the ankle joint. And then once again, flex your toes back towards your face. This is a great passive stretch to the Achilles and calves. It's preventative medicine in a way so that you don't like overextend an Achilles or a calf outside of class. Take an inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Depending on your body proportions, you might have your hands outside of your hips, your knees, your thighs. I happen to have short legs and a long spine, so it is easy to bring my hands towards my feet. But for you, this might be a good stretch, right? Depending on your body proportions. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Push yourself up, come back to center. We're going to make our way into a tabletop position. Now, if you have tight toes, ankles, or knees, you might roll up your yoga mat so that there's extra padding under any delicate lower body joints. And if you don't have a yoga mat, a thin blanket or towel or even pillow will do the trick as well. But again, you're welcome to have some extra padding under the lower body. You want your hands about shoulder width distance, wrists under shoulders, spread your fingers wide, root down through all 28 knuckles so that you're not putting all of your body weight on your wrists. Knees and feet about hip width distance, hips under knees. We're going to cat-cow. Inhale. And on your exhale through your nose, round your spine like a cat. Meow. Push the floor away from you. Drop your head down, chin to chest. On your next inhale, cow pose. Moo. Stick your butt up. Let your abdomen relax. Roll your shoulders back and down. Send your gaze up to the ceiling. Let's try that again. Exhale, cat pose. Meow.
round your spine, push the floor away from you so it's extension to the spine, compression to abdominal wall, draw your belly button up to the ceiling. And on your next inhale, cow pose, squeeze shoulder blades, scapula together. Now it's extension to the abdominal wall, compression to the spine. Keep squeezing your shoulders together as you look up. Last round, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Look up, lift your nose and chin. Exhale, neutral spine position. We'll do a little spine twist here. Keep your left hand on the floor, and on your inhale, reach your right arm up, look up, do a little twist. Slow exhale to your nose, float your right hand back down to the floor. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Think about stacking left arm on top of right arm. Exhale, left hand down. This time we're going to thread the needle. Inhale, reach your right arm up, look up. Exhale, thread the needle, take your right arm under your left arm. Beautiful, right ear to floor. You got it, right shoulder to floor. Awesome. You can keep your left hand on the floor. You can also reach it off the floor and drape your hand behind you. Reach for your right thigh with your left hand, or you are welcome to keep your left hand on the floor. Take a breath. Your left hand is draped behind you. Start by reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling. Place your left hand back on the floor under your shoulder, and we're going to unthread the needle. Inhale, unthread the needle. Slide your right arm out and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right arm down. Good, let's do the other side. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle, left arm under right arm, left ear to floor, left shoulder to floor, hips over knees. Option to keep your right hand on the floor or reach up towards the sky, and then drape your right hand behind you. Reach for your waistband, your hip, or even your left thigh. Take a breath. Okay, as you're ready, reach your right arm up. Place your right hand on the floor. Everybody together, unthread the needle. Inhale, reach your left arm up, look up. Good. Exhale, left hand down. You have an option to take a cat-cow here, or you can join me in a down dog. You're going to tuck your toes under. Once again, press your knuckles down, and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Press your heels down to the floor. Spread your fingers wide. Again, root down through all 28 knuckles and the space between your index finger and thumbs so that you're not placing all of your body weight on your wrists. If you're in down dog, think about bringing your heels to the floor. And if your heels don't touch the floor, open up your feet. So your feet are like mat width distance rather than hip width distance. And it might be a little bit easier to bring your heels down, hips up, push the floor away from you. If you're in down dog, you're going to look forward, bend your knees again, knees to the floor, and we're going to go into a child's pose. Everybody bring your big toes together. You can open your knees for a deeper inner thigh stretch and start to sink your hips back as you stretch your arms forward, bringing forehead down to the floor. Forehead might not touch the floor, hips might not touch the heels. That's okay. The idea here is the hips are a little higher than the head and you're lengthening through the hips, the lower back, middle back, upper back, through the shoulders and neck spine. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Slow exhale through the nose, sink your hips back. This is a particularly useful posture if you ever feel a little untethered or ungrounded. In this posture, you can really start to feel your body sink into the floor. Let the floor hold you up. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Walk your hands in under your shoulders, press yourself up. So now you're sitting back towards your feet. And if you'd like a little counter stretch, you can take your hands behind you and do a little back bend, looking up and back. Good. Bring your spine back into a neutral straight position. If you, like me, rolled up your yoga mat, you can unroll your yoga mat, and then we're going to turn and lie on our backs. So lying on your back, we're going to take collapsed bridge pose. Bend your knees so that your feet are on the floor about hip width distance, and let your knees rest together. This helps to lower the lower back to the floor. That sounded repetitive. This helps to lower and soften the lumbar lower spine down towards the floor. And if you'd like, you can, again, move your knees right and left, windshield wiping the knees to get a little bit more range of motion in the hips. Great. So this is our collapsed bridge. You're going to come back to a neutral position. Knees rest together. Take a breath. Feel your shoulders on the floor. From here, Open up your knees slightly so your knees and feet are hip width distance. That was collapsed bridge. Now we're going to try bridge pose. Rotate your shoulders so palms face down and bring your arms underneath you. So one day thumbs touch. Tuck your chin in ever so slightly so your neck lengthens. Press your heels down, squeeze your glutes, press your shoulders and palms down, and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes rather than opening your ribs or flaring your ribs apart. Think about knitting your ribs together. Press your heels down, shoulders down, chin to chest. Take a breath. Good. Slowly lower your hips back down. We'll take supine figure 4. Keep your left foot on the floor. Lift your right foot off the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh so that your legs make a 4 shape. That's why it's called figure 4, not very creative. Option to keep your left foot on the floor or lift your left foot off the floor, hugging your thighs in towards your abdomen. You're welcome to keep your hands on the floor. You can also grab the outsides of your legs or take your right hand in between legs, left hand outside of left thigh, interlace your fingers behind your left thigh and pull down. This is a nice side seat stretch and hip opener. It's also really good for sciatic nerve pain. The sciatic nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It runs from the lower back all the way into the foot. It's a thick nerve. The sciatic nerve is as thick as your thumb, and it often gets pinched when the lower back vertebrae start to squeeze into each other. So in this posture, we're extending through the lumbar spine and we're stretching through the hip and outer thigh, which is what makes it so good if you ever have sciatic nerve pain or you know someone who has that. Not fun, but this is a nice counter stretch. And again, it's preventative, right? It's preventative medicine as well. If you have a grip on the backs of your legs, release that grip, slowly return your left foot to the floor, right foot to the floor. Wiggle your arms underneath you again. We'll do another bridge. Press your shoulders and heels down, chin to chest, squeeze your glutes and lift your hips up. In this second go around, see if you can lift your hips a little higher, really using your side seat muscles here. Lift your hips. Good. And slowly lower down. Other side of supine figure 4, keep your right foot on the floor. Lift your left foot off the floor, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Option to stay here or lift your right foot off the floor. And again, you can keep your hands on the floor. You can grab the outsides of your legs or you can interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Keep your shoulders and hips on the floor, chin to chest. See if you can relax into the posture rather than forcing or fighting. So relax your feet, relax your glutes, your thigh, soften your abdomen. Take a breath. Slow inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the nose. Picture highly oxygenated blood going into the left hip, left foot. Good. And release your hands, right foot down, left foot down. Happy baby. Lift both feet off the floor. You can keep your knees bent, flex your toes back. You can keep your hands on the floor. You can grab the backs of your legs. You can grab your ankles or you can grab the outsides of your feet. Keep the knees bent, toes flexed back. And from here, if you'd like to be an extra happy baby, you can rock right and left, which is also a great way to roll out your back muscles. And as you roll to the right, you might try extending your right leg and then come back to center, bend the right knee. As you roll to the left, extend the left leg, stretching the inner thigh, come back to center. Do that one more time. And then once you're even out, return to center, chin slightly to chest, shoulders down, hips down, soften through your pelvic floor, take a breath. If you have a grip on your feet, release that grip with or without the use of your hands. Bring your knees, feet together. Take your arms out to the side, perpendicular to the body. You can also bend your elbows so they're cactused like goalposts. And from here, roll to the left so that your right hip stacks on top of left hip. Try to keep your right shoulder down towards the floor. This is our final spine twist. Good for back health. Also good for digestion. We're twisting into the abdominal wall. You can keep the back of your head on the floor, or you can look over your right shoulder, looking in the opposite direction of your knees. If you're looking over your right shoulder, bring the back of your head to the floor. With or without the use of your hands, you're gonna roll your right hip down to the floor, and then other side, keep rolling. Roll to the right, left hip stacks on top of right hip, left shoulder to the floor. Option to keep the back of your head on the floor, or look to the left, bringing your left ear down towards the floor. And we're twisting the spine, twisting the abdomen, also opening through the shoulders and chest where a lot of us carry tension. Take a breath. You're looking over left shoulder, bring the back of your head to the floor. With or without the use of your hands, roll your left hip down. Lift your head, tuck your chin to your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Squeeze tight. You can think about contracting every muscle in your body. You can even make a funny face. Take an inhale. And then as you're ready, release that grip, open your mouth. Exhale, final Savasana. For Savasana, corpse pose, you're welcome to have your arms and legs down. Arms and legs straight, head on the floor. If lying on your back with your legs straight does not feel good to the lower back, that is very normal. A collapsed bridge might feel better, right? So you can bend your knees with feet on the floor and let your knees rest together. And that for many people feels better to the lower back. So both of these options are available to you. Let your heels get a little heavier on the floor. Relax through your feet, palms, and shoulders. Let the floor hold you up. I describe this as a yoga and meditation class, but it's actually just a yoga class because meditation is a limb of yoga. So we often associate yoga with the asana, the postures, and maybe the pranayama, the breathing exercise, but another limb of yoga is meditation. So we're going to practice that limb, which as you'll note is, they're not distinct, right? Asana is in many ways a moving meditation. Pranayama's breathing exercises are used in meditations. So they're not distinct from each other, but we will practice the dhyana or the meditation limb of yoga now. For this particular meditation, you are welcome to continue to lie on your back. It might feel good to close your eyes. You can also do a soft fuzzy gaze beyond the tip of your nose, or pick a spot on the ceiling that helps you anchor. If you would prefer to be upright in a more traditional meditative stance, you can mindfully roll off to one side, take your time. And still being aware of your body moving in time and space, press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. And that can, again, be crisscross applesauce or Sukhasana, easy pose. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about yoga. About meditation. One of the misconceptions is that meditation is an absence of thought. I don't think it's an absence of thought. I think meditation gives us the tools to be aware of our thoughts and feelings without being inside of them. So we can observe our thoughts and feelings pass without attaching to them. There is no such thing as a good meditator or a bad meditator. There are simply people who meditate and people who do not. And for the sake of today, you are meditating. So let that be enough. Again, you're welcome to close your eyes. You can also do a soft fuzzy gaze beyond the tip of your nose, or anchor on a particular spot on the ceiling if you're lying down, or maybe on the floor in front of you if you're upright. I'm now going to light a candle. As a symbolic gesture that we are entering into a more intentional space. Being intentional with our breath, intentional with our body movements, intentional with our thoughts. So many of us run from activity to activity, person to person, social media app to social media app, but we rarely sit still and take time just to breathe. So much so that sometimes when we enter into stillness and breath, or even silence, it can set off alarm bells in our mind. If at any point in class you become a little anxious,
It might be helpful to tell your brain, thank you, but I know that I'm safe. And it can also be helpful to anchor to a spot on the ceiling or the floor rather than having your eyes closed. It can also be helpful to focus on a certain sensation, whether it's, again, a sight, a sound, a smell, a taste, or simply a sensation in your body, like your hands on the floor or your sit bones grounded into the floor. These are all tools at your disposal. And remember that your breath is your home base. So we'll begin just by focusing on our breath. As you inhale, feel your body rise. And as you exhale, feel your body fall. On the breath in, observe your ribs expanding. And on the breath out, feel your ribs contracting. Inhale, notice the temperature of air coming into your nostrils. Exhale, notice the temperature of air coming out of your nostrils. Maybe a little bit warmer, a reminder that we are 90-something degrees and very much alive. Inhale, body rise. Exhale, body fall. We'll take a minute in stillness and silence where you can observe thoughts passing without attaching to them. Remember that meditation is a practice, not a perfection, and there is no such thing as a good or bad meditator. It is common when we enter into stillness and breath to be bored, to wonder when it's going to end or if we're doing it right. At the same time, the mundane or the boring lie often next to the sacred and the deeply profound. And it's our job just to observe without judging. Sometimes when and I suspect I am not alone in this, sometimes when I encounter a particularly difficult thought or emotion, I push it away or pretend that it does not exist. Other times I attach to it. So an example of is if someone is feeling nauseous, do they say I feel sick or do they say I am sick? If someone is feeling sad or anxious, do they say I feel sad, I feel anxious, or do I say I am sad, I am anxious? Our thoughts and our feelings are like clouds. Sometimes they pass quickly. Sometimes they linger all day. Sometimes they're white and fluffy. We even try to make meaning out of them or shapes. Sometimes they're gray and stormy, but they always pass. It's important to remember that you are not the clouds. You are the sky. The particularly coming from the Pacific Northwest, which is known for its rain, because there are mountains that do not let the clouds pass. I am aware, both literally and perhaps metaphorically, of what it means to not let clouds or feelings or emotions pass so that it becomes rainy all the time. If you have either experienced those mountains and those clouds in the Pacific Northwest or somewhere else, or you just understand the metaphor, right, of not letting emotions pass, this might be an opportunity in your practice just to let the clouds pass, to let the thoughts pass without attaching to them, to let the feelings pass without attaching to them. We'll take another minute in stillness. Start to observe not just any thoughts or feelings passing through you, but perhaps also any judgment that you might assign to them. So, for example, if I feel bored in a meditation, I might judge that as bad. Or if I feel calm or tingly or buzzy, I might judge that as good. See if you can just observe thoughts and feelings passing without assigning judgment like good or bad, just watching them pass like clouds in the sky. You might also notice or observe with a mindfulness practice if you're constantly looping back to a certain thought or feeling. Could be a feeling of unworthiness or simply something on your to-do list that you can't quite let go of. This is a beautiful mindfulness practice of letting go. And if you find that you continue to loop back to a certain thought or belief or feeling, and you're not sure where to take your mind, you might just return your thoughts to your breath, in and out through your nose. The same way that we strengthen muscles or train our bodies to walk or to run, it can also train our brain, right? Not to loop or to relax. And again, it's a practice, it's not a perfection. Same thing with bicep curls or hamstring stretches. And also start to create new neurological pathways in the mind. Coming back to your breath. Inhale, feel your body rise. Exhale, body fall. Observe where you're putting your mental energy. To who, to what, to where, sure that you're putting that energy, that love, that care back into yourself. Inhale, body rise. Exhale, body fall. As you breathe in, feel your ribs gently expand. As you breathe out, ribs gently contract. On the inhale, notice the temperature of air coming into your nostrils. And on the exhale, notice the temperature of air coming out. Breathe in. As you breathe out, feel that air just above the top lip, between the nose and the lip. What other sensations do you feel with your breath? How does your body move or still with your breath? When we take time to be still and breathe with ourselves, we make an investment in ourselves and we make a statement that we are worthy. The same way that we might want to sit next to a dear friend or loved one. It's also important to make sure that you want to sit with the most important person in your life, and that is you. Be very careful what you tell yourself. Your thoughts are your prayers, and the universe only knows how to say yes. So invest wisely. And I would invest in any of you any day, the same way that I would invest in myself. And I hope you feel that same way. Breathing in. Anything you want to let go of, let it go. It can be through the nose or the mouth. Take another cleansing breath, inhale. Anything that feels heavy or it's no longer serving you, this is an invitation to let it go. Breathing in, breathing out. And if you can't let it go, you might just picture what it will feel like when you do let it go. It doesn't need to be today, but just holding that image in your heart. You're welcome to stay in our meditative space for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, I will count us down from 3, at which point you can make any motions with your body that tell your mind that you're shifting gears. Breathing in. And let it go for 3, 2, 1. I'm now going to blow out this candle as a symbolic gesture that our meditative time is ending. And I am letting the very real smoke clear the air as a reminder that when we take time to sit with ourselves, we literally change our relationship with the world around us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to practice with you soon. Bye, friends.
Thank you.